So, I've been awake since 3 a.m. working. It's now 10 a.m. And I look like shit. The lighting is shit. The dogs won't shut up. It's just where I'm at. But I was gonna take a nap. But I can't stop thinking about this fucking book. And I need to tell someone about it. So here we go. Made for Love by Alyssa Nutting looks so pretty. I picked it up solely based on how pretty it is. I fully admit I judge books by their cover, especially when they're on a clearance table, which this one was. I went to see Alice Hoffman speak, who is an author that my mom and I just love. And the bookstore she was at had a clearance table, and I spent $60 I don't have on books, and this was one of them. The basic plot of this book is, at least how it was described to me in the book's jacket. We'll get into what actually happens in this book. In the book's jacket, our main character, Hazel, leaves her husband, who is basically a Jeff Bezos clone, eccentric billionaire who has like no idea how to be a human, I guess. She leaves this guy because he wants to implant a chip in her brain so that they can like mind meld, which, okay. So she moves in with her dad in his trailer home, and he lives with a sex doll called Diane. So this book's off to a great start. She's like trying to adjust to not being a super like the whole a theme of this book was like cleanliness. Like her ex-husband Byron, I'm just gonna call him Bezos, was like super clean and just like he didn't like to eat. He didn't like to chew things. He like had like a reverse colostomy bag for his food. Like that's what I think the only scene that I liked from this book was in the beginning when Hazel first left the house, her dad's trailer, to get drunk. The drunk scene, the drinking, the bar were all very well described. About the only well described thing in this book, actually. And the drunk scene was actually pretty funny. Hazel curls up with a lawn flamingo in the box that her dad's sex doll came in. Nothing that interesting really happens with the main character. Her high-tech husband is like stalking her with his like nanobots, I guess. He implanted a chip in her head that downloads all of her memories and thoughts. Okay. We cut to another character that wasn't mentioned in the book, in the book's jacket. Not at all. This character is named Jasper. And the introduction of Jasper is where this book went from a hard mediocre to a hard what the fuck. Jasper's a con artist who makes his money by fucking affluent women, getting them to give him money, and then leaving them. Real stand-up guy. We are first introduced to Jasper after one of these breakups. He's on the beach, he goes in the water, and then he gets attacked by a dolphin that wants to fuck him, I guess. I don't know how he made that determination. From the way the encounter was described in the book, Jasper looked in its eyes and knew, which it's a dolphin, but okay. Jasper gets bit on the wrist by this dolphin. He like drags it up onto the beach for weird, semi not established reasons. A bunch of people see it, they film it, he becomes the dolphin savior. Okay. So he goes back to his hotel room, and this is where I, as the reader, just, I don't know. He's in the shower, and he's like, I'm gonna jerk off and then run, because now that people know my face is the dolphin savior, I might get caught by other exes that I've had, and they might come after me for their money back. So he cuts his hair and then gets in the shower to jerk off. And he can't think of anything else except dolphin skin, and that's what gets him off. And understandably, that freaks him out. That would freak me out. So he calls up an escort service, and he's like, hey, send over a girl. I need to, like, get my mojo or something. So they send over a girl, and he, like, can't fuck because all he's thinking of is dolphin. So then we cut back to Hazel. And she's, living life with a chip in her head, getting her memories downloaded at noon every day by her weird ex-husband. And then at some point down that line, we find out that Hazel's dad has cancer. And Hazel, who from the beginning of this book was like, I'm never going back to this guy. I don't care what he says. I don't care what he does. It's not happening. Hazel's like, okay, well, I should go back to him because my dad will want treatment. And like, first of all, Byron is the one who tells her this. Byron is the one who tells her that her dad has cancer. Her dad doesn't tell her. Because when Hazel was sleeping, she put on a sleep helmet that Byron designed, and it can tell, like, it can read like body waves, and it read cancer on her dad from a certain radius. It's very, that's the thing though, that's the thing about this whole universe. It's absurd, but it's not absurd enough to truly be absurd. I don't know if that makes any sense. It's absurd and weird, and the dialogue is like absurd and weird, but it's not so absurd that I couldn't see it happening in this universe, which is why it's so out of place. Hazel doesn't end up going back to Byron because her dad doesn't want treatment, which, of course he wouldn't. The whole time that we're like establishing Hazel's dad as a character, like, he has 2 sex dolls at this point in the book. He doesn't want treatment. He wants to fuck till he dies. That's like a line in the book. He wants to fuck until he dies. Or he wants to like die mid-fuck. Like, that's... Okay. So then we cut back to Jasper, who... Oh, God. So Jasper is now... He has he stopped doing the con thing, right? Jasper stopped doing his con, and now he's actually like working a real job. And then when this was first introduced, I was like, oh wow, maybe he changed. He's working at an aquarium with dolphins. And my first thought was, oh Christ, oh no. And I was right. I was right to have that thought, because he's only working there because he has to wear compression boxers because he gets boners around the dolphin tank. Specifically with one called Bella, who he is trying in this section of the book to kidnap. He bought a house with a pool so that he could put Bella, this dolphin, in it after he kidnaps her from the aquarium. Dude, I can't. Where did we go left on this book? I feel like I should have been warned about this, and I wasn't. This was not in the book's jacket at all. Nobody named Jasper or dolphin fucking was mentioned in this book, and now I'm like, am I in a furry fantasy? What is happening here? So he one night attempts to take Bella out of the aquarium, and he gets caught by his boss. Because instead of just taking Bella back to the hotel bathroom that he planned on, he gets aroused and he takes his dick out and he's like, I just want to touch the tip of my dick to the dolphin's skin, and then when I come, then I'll be able to focus and put Bella in the back of my car and kidnap her. I wish I was joking. So he gets caught, and then he's like, well, fuck, now I have to run again. So he does. He goes back to his hotel, and he's like, all right, I need to, like, clean up shit and whatever. So he's got anatomical pictures of dolphins up on his walls. I'm gonna read you this passage. He's in his, like, apartment hotel thing. I don't know exactly what it is. Stepping indoors, he saw the outline of his blow-up mattress in the Efficiency's corner. Efficiency is, like, the apartment, I guess. It was covered with various plushy dolphin stuffed animals he brought home from the Oceanarium gift shop and used in shameful ways. Sir, this is a Wendy's. I can't. What the fuck? At this point, Jasper and Hazel are not connected. They haven't met. That stuffed animal nightmare I just read you, that's 200 pages into the book. This is a 300-page book. These two characters, who I don't really care about, haven't even met. So at this point, I'm like, are we just having like was Jasper the dolphin fucker meant to just be like a short story and she like snuck it into this other book? I don't know. Then he finds out, like, he sees this commercial for Bezos's company, Byron Bezos, same thing, Byron's company, where they're like, we can do like medical enhancements, and Jasper was like, I'm gonna go there, and my first thought was, he's gonna turn himself into a fucking dolphin so we can fuck more dolphins. Oh my god. Then we cut back to Hazel, so I'm just like panicking, and now I have to read about this bitch I don't care about. Her dad dies, and she attempts suicide. And that's all that really happens in this chapter. Now we're back to Jasper. Jasper actually went to the biomedical facility run by Byron because he wants to stop being attracted to dolphins. And I was like, the only sensible thing to happen in this fucking book. Thank God. And so he talks to this woman named Voda. She's a lead scientist there. And he's like, I need you to, like, fuck with my brain to make me stop fucking dolphins. And she was like, can do. So they did. Voda made Jasper want to fuck her because he loves her, but also, whenever Jasper fucks, he still thinks about dolphins. He can only get off if he's thinking about dolphins, yet he loves this human woman. I'm so broken inside. Then Voda breaks up with him while he's living in her house on like Byron's campus, like medical campus, whatever. And then this woman in a bunny mask gives Jasper a syringe and is like, I need you to plunge this into this lady who is Hazel, and that will stop her brain chip from working. This is the first time Jasper and Hazel meet. Hazel is dying of a drug overdose next to her dead dad, surrounded by these two sex dolls. And Jasper comes in and shoves a syringe into Hazel to stop the brain chip. Doesn't like stop her from dying. And then somebody that Hazel was fucking before, his name is Liver. Yikes. He comes in and he like saves her from dying. And then Hazel's like, I don't want Byron to have my dad's body. Okay. She thinks that her ex-husband is so evil that he would take her dad's body and lord it over her to get her to come back. He's dead. What? Liver loads up her dead dad's body and the sex dolls, can't forget those, into the back of Jasper's car. Jasper drives them to a farm in the middle of nowhere, and they leave Liver behind. That's the last we hear of Liver, which, cool, I didn't care. Liver buries her dad's body alongside the sex dolls in the middle of the woods. And then Jasper and Hazel run. First of all, if Byron is such like a like evil genius or whatever, he would have found Jasper. Like he would have known this whole plot to stop him from being able to track Hazel was done within his house. There, like, Hazel makes it a point when she's describing her life and how she lived with Byron in this like miserable sterile tech house, that there was like sensors in the fucking walls that could tell like who was walking, what you were like it gave you like brain waves and shit. Like, are you telling me that Byron, like seer of all things, didn't know this was happening? So Hazel and Jasper run away, right? And then the end of the book, like the last 10 pages, are a real slog. This whole book was a swamp, but so it's just Hazel being sad. She works at a diner. She doesn't make any money. She's just sad. Jasper fucks off. I don't know where he went. Nobody does. I don't really care either. Byron dies. His assistant, Tiffany, again, absurdist shit. World building, not absurd enough. It's just stupid. Tiffany? Okay. Tiffany, who was Byron's assistant when Hazel was married to him, marries Byron and then kills him. Apparently she was the one in the bunny mask who gave Jasper the syringe so that he could stop tracking Hazel. Which is another thing I don't understand. I know that the brain chip is already like far-fetched, but just whatever's in that syringe just stops him from being able to download her brain at intervals. I'm skeptical. The last scene in this book is Hazel and Jasper at Hazel's hotel. Jasper comes back after Byron dies. I don't know where he was. I hope he wasn't fucking dolphins, but he was probably trying to. Last scene in this book is Hazel about to fuck Jasper. And the last thing that Jasper says on the last page of this book is, I think it's starting. And by I think it's starting, he means my fantasy of imagining a dolphin when I'm fucking a person is starting. You can suck me off now. And that's how the book ends. I hate this. Like, the jacket of this book, you know, where the synopsis is, there's no mention of dolphins. There are dolphins on the cover. Okay. There's no mention of, and you know what? Maybe that shouldn't even be my biggest grievance, because this book was not greatly written anyway. But at least with Hazel, like, I could relate, and I cared a little bit. Just not a lot, but a little. I cared a little about, you know, this. I mean, her life with Byron sounded awful. And, like, I could totally relate to being in a shit relationship. Hey, kiddo. I could totally relate to that. The secondary plot in this book made me question things in my life that I have never questioned before. I'm 24 years old. Never once have I thought, you know what? I want to read a book about a dude that tries to fuck a dolphin. That's where I'm at. I don't put myself out there really, but I felt the need to with this book. Because, holy shit, this is a book about dolphin fucking. I spent money on this. And it wasn't advertised. That's the thing. It wasn't advertised as a furry fan fiction. There was no mention of that. So why did I go in for Divorced Lady Gets a New Lease on Life book and I got furry porn? This has never happened to me before, which is why I feel like I need to talk about it, which is why I am so fucking tired, but I'm sitting here recording this. And there's like really no resolution except that Byron dies. Jasper's still a dolphin fucker. Hazel's still sad, but now she's fucking a dolphin fucker. Is this a metaphor? I don't